What day?
It's Sunday.
Duh.
And you know what? I just have to say, I'm tired of all these dads getting all the credit for dad
right?
jokes.
Yeah.
Because moms have jokes too.
Oh, I have one. I have one.
Okay, what is it?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Abby.
Abby who?
Happy Mother's Day.
Oh! Yes. See, it's Mother's Day.
It is,
If you
all
didn't
day.
know that, we're letting you know now. And you better stop whatever you're doing and make sure that you text your mom, call your mom, make sure you tell her Happy Mother's Day, give her a shout out in the chat, and hopefully you've invited her to watch along with you this morning.
Yes.
So go ahead and do that right now before church starts.
Well, we're back. You know, mothers have a lot of wisdom,
right.
and there's a lot of mother-isms. And Ashley and I have some isms that we would like to share with you.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Do you want to start?
I will start.
Okay.
Okay. These isms are things that moms say to us to keep us in our place. Okay, because that's important.
Keep us centered, right?
Yes. And so the first one is, who are you going with? Do I know them?
Oh,
Right?
yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, because you can't let your kids be
No.
hanging out with people you don't
Nope.
know.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
And then the next one is, which I've been hearing a lot, is, I'm bored. And so, of course, a mom's gonna respond by saying, bored? I'll give you something to do.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because
yeah.
there's always something to do around the
Yeah,
house.
my mom would say that.
And
Okay.
then my favorite of all time is, you will eat it and you will like it.
Ooh.
Okay?
Okay, I have
What
a
about
good
you?
ism. I have a good
Okay.
ism. This ism, I'm sure you're all familiar with, is I have eyes on the back of my head. Do mothers have eyes on the
They
back
do.
of their head?
All moms.
Yes, they do. They do. They have eyes on the back of their head.
What about you? What's
Well,
one
I
of your
do.
isms?
I do have an ism. Whenever I would have to talk to my children about something, maybe that I'm really upset about, I would say something. I always did it like in an outline order, like this. I would say, well, first of all, blah 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 blah, and secondly, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, we're just trying to keep them,
Yeah.
just trying to
Right.
help them catch up with you.
Keep it in order.
My favorite thing
Yeah.
to tell my kids is, God knows if you're lying.
Oh, he does.
Yeah. Well, you tell us, what's your favorite mom-ism? What's something you say to your kids? What's something your mom said to you growing up? Let us know in the chat because we want to hear from you.
We do. So, Ashley,
Yes.
what are you doing today since it's Mother's Day? Are you doing anything special?
Well, one thing I told my kids and my husband is that I wanted to have steak and baked potatoes for dinner. So that is what I'm looking forward to, and just relaxing, really. Just
Aw.
relaxing, yeah. What about you?
Well, gonna be serving a little bit, and we are having family over. All of my kids except for one of them. And we're gonna eat, probably have a food coma, and take a nap. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty chill.
Mother's
Maybe go for a
Day.
swim. You know, yeah.
Mother's Day nap, Mother's Day swim. Sounds
Yeah.
great.
And I get to watch whatever I wanna watch.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's our day.
Get to pick the movies.
That's right.
Yes.
Well, what are you doing for your Mother's Day? Let
gotta
us
know.
know. Or how are you celebrating your mom today? Let us know in the chat. Tell us what's going on. We want to hear from you. Hey, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today. Service is just about to start, but make sure you invite someone to watch along with you today. Hopefully you invited your mom.
Yes.
Hey,
What?
happy Mother's Day.
Well, happy Mother's Day to you.
Happy Mother's Day.
The girls are representing in the house today. Did you know that?
I did.
Yeah, girl power. You know why?
Why?
Pastor Becky's preaching.
Yes.
Mhm. And you and I are the online hosts.
That's right. And if you are watching today, make sure that you give us a shout out. Let us know. Maybe tell your mom Happy Mother's Day. But whatever you do, make sure you participate in the chat throughout the whole service. It just makes it so much more fun. And we want to see how everybody's feeling, what everybody's doing. So make sure that you participate this morning.
And if you have a prayer need, press the prayer button, and there will be an online host that will pray with you, and it will be private.
All right, so we're about ready to start worshiping. Everybody stand up. Let's worship God together
Yes.
this morning. just love that we get to be in his presence and that his praise is a weapon. Just like that song said, it's so powerful. Well, if you are here this morning and this is your first time with us, we just want to say welcome to Desert Springs Church Online.
Yes.
We're so glad to have you with us, and we want to make sure that we get to know you a little bit better. So we have a connection card, an online connection card that you can fill out. If you click connect in the chat, it'll pull it up right there for you. You can fill it out, and we just want to reach out to you later on in the week and make sure that you feel like you're part of the family.
Guess what time it is? It's offering time.
Yes, offering time.
One of the things I love about Desert Springs is that it is a generous church. And you know why? Because we serve a generous God, and we follow his example. I want to read to you a scripture. In Luke chapter 21, verse 1, it says, "As Jesus looked up, he saw the rich putting their gifts into the temple treasury. He also saw a poor widow put in 2 very small copper coins. 'Truly I tell you,' he said, 'this widow has put in more than all the others. All these people gave their gifts out of their wealth, but she gave out of her poverty, put in all she had to live on.'" And he was acknowledging the fact that she had a right heart. She gave out of her poverty. What I also love is when we can read verses and they have multiple meanings. What I love about this is that Jesus acknowledged the widow. He saw her and he valued her. I want you to know that today, sometimes it could be difficult because it's Mother's Day, and it can be difficult for some of us. Maybe your mom passed away, maybe you're not in right relationship with your children, or maybe you have a difficult relationship with your mother. Maybe you can't get pregnant, you're having infertility issues. Maybe you lost a child. I want you to know that our generous God, he sees. He sees you and he loves you. And we want you to know that we at Desert Springs love you as well, and we want to honor you. Shall we pray? Dear Lord, we just thank you, God, that you are a generous God. And Father, I ask in the name of Jesus that you bless all the people, God, that are here today watching, and bless their families. God, we just dedicate today to you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Sing that praise. Let praise be the weapon that silences feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you, we praise you. This is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you, we praise you. This is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you, we praise you. This is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you, we praise. We'll see you break down every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. Our fear cannot survive when we praise you. The God of breakthroughs on our side. Forever lift him high. With no creation cry, God we sing out. Oh, we praise you. Oh, yes, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. Oh, we praise, oh, we praise. We lift our praise name, Jesus.
We love you, Mommy. You're the really best. Happy Mother's Day.
Hi, Mom.
We love you.
We hope you have a good Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. I love you. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. And thank you for all the things that you've given us, and thank you for all the food. And we love you, Mom, so much.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you for all your sacrifices.
Thank you for making me breakfast every morning.
You're the best mom in the whole universe. We
Love you.
I love you, Mom.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. We wish you, we love you very much, and we thank you for everything you have done for us.
Happy Mother's Day, Mommy. We love you so much. They've done so much for us and made good food for us.
Say Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. We love our mom because she is the best teacher in the world.
Yes.
Say I love you, Mom.
Hey, Mom. I love hugs. I love cuddle hugs. I like play walls. I like wizards. I like play golf. I like playing race cars. Race cars.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. We love you, and something we love about you is your personality.
Okay, guys, what do you love about your mom?
I love when she plays games with me. I like Mommy playing Power with me and playing with me in my room.
We love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you for always being there for us.
Hi, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. You are seen, you are appreciated. I cannot thank you enough for everything you've done for me. I love you.
Happy Mother's Day. We love you.
Happy Mother's Day. I love you.
Oh, that my mom is nice to me and plays with me. I love you, Mom.
I love my mom because she lets me play on her phone and she lets me go out with her, and she loves and I love it when she gives me hugs and kisses, and I actually love it when she does that for me.
Happy Mother's Day,
Mom. We love you so much.
Love you so much.
And we're so thankful for you and your kind heart and for being the most amazing mother.
Yeah, we love how involved you are in our lives. And
Oh,
just,
yes.
We treasure every moment that we have with you. And we
Yes.
love being around you.
We love hiking, surprisingly.
We love you so much,
And
Mom.
Darla loves you too.
Bye.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you for everything you do for us. We love you.
Words don't even come close to telling you how grateful I am for you, for our relationship,
for everything you've taught me. You're an amazing woman, an amazing mother, and I aspire to be just like you. Happy Mother's Day.
What do I love about my mom? There's a lot of things. I love her hugs. I love her sense of humor. I love that she wheezes when she laughs too hard, and she snorts. It's pretty funny. I love her love for flowers. I love her love for her family, and I just really love her. She's the best. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you.
We love you, Mommy. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you for everything that you've done, and thank you for always making us laugh.
Thank you for never quitting and for being a fighter. Happy Mother's Day. Love you.
Hey Mom, we love you, and happy Mother's Day. So you go first.
Okay, one thing I love about my mom is that she's very, very pretty all the time.
And one thing I love about my mom is that she's always happy no matter what circumstance she's in or what type of mood she is throughout the day.
Happy Mother's Day!
I love my mom because of how kind, caring, and loving she is, and she always supports me no matter what I do. Love you, Mom.
I love you, Mom. I am thankful that you're my mom. Mommy, I love you. You're so wonderful to me. Happy Mother's Day!
Happy Mother's Day, Amber. Thank you for everything you do. I love you so much.
Hi, Mom. We love you. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to our mom and grandma. We are so grateful and we appreciate everything you've done for us. We love you.
I love my mom because she takes such good care of me and she does so much for me. She's really funny and we always have a great time together.
Happy Mother's Day!
I love when you make us treats.
I love it when you listen to me. I love when you hang out with me.
I love it when you let us in your room and talk at night. We love you!
Love you!
I appreciate my mom because she works very hard.
I appreciate my mom because she's an amazing cook.
I appreciate you, Mom, because you're an amazing teacher.
I love you, Mom!
Hi, Mama!
Thanks for inspiring us every day.
We love you so much and we appreciate how you lead our family through everything and help us find the joy in all the small moments. We love you so much.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day from Carrington and Daddy. We love you.
The one thing I love about my mom is we spend a lot of time together and we are always doing fun things. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you.
Ow. Happy Mother's Day. I love you.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. We love you, Mom. Love all the time you spend with us and how much you care for us.
We love you.
This just in. Krista Davey named Best Mom of the Year 19 years running. What do you have to say, miss?
She's the best. She's super awesome.
Yeah, you're right. She even takes care of me and I'm a handful.
Hey Penelope, what do you love about your mommy?
Way.
What else?
Having my mama right there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Eleni, what do you love about your mama?
Mama. What I love about Mom is she's kind.
What I like about Mom is she's positive and nice.
I like she's kind and she always gives people second chances and yeah.
Hey Mom, happy Mother's Day. I really just wanted to thank you for always being my #1 hype man. I love you so much.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Thank you so much for just being so supportive of me throughout the years and for loving me and taking care of me. Love you.
Hi Mom, happy Mother's Day. Thank you for gardening with me and thank you for swimming in the pool with me. It's really fun. Hope you have a great day. Love you.
Hey Mom, thank you for everything you've done for us. Thank you for working hard. Happy Mother's Day and God bless you and love you.
Happy Mother's Day. I love you, Mom.
Ethan, what do you love most about Mom?
She makes me dinner. She makes me breakfast. Happy Mother's Day, Mommy. I love you. Happy Mother's Day. We love you. God bless you.
Hey, happy Mother's Day, everybody. Wasn't that video awesome? Just the kids' messages to their moms just warms our heart. Thank you for everybody who made that happen. Dads and siblings. and our amazing creative department. Thank you for putting that together and making today really special for all the moms. I'm excited to be here with you. I'm excited to be able to bring the word today. And I'm just hoping that you're holding up okay under quarantine. These days are kind of reminding me of those pictures of where they show people and their dogs and they look exactly alike. And because a lot of times when we're spending a lot of time with people, we start looking like them, sounding like them, talking like them. As the walls are closing in, we start responding to each other exactly the same way. And I know in our house, one of the funny things that is happening is our 2-year-old little grandson who lives with us, he's just recently picked up on this new phrase. And he's often saying, "Come on." And he uses it 2 different ways. It's really funny. One way, he uses it as like an invitation. He can't say his L's, so he calls me Wubby. And so he's like, "Come on, Wubby. Come on, let's go to the tent. Come on, Wubby, let's play with cars." And so I love it. He uses it in the right way as an invitation, but then he also uses it in like his moments of frustration where he's like trying to line up his cars and he's like, "Come on." And so the 4 adults in the house are finding that we are starting to sound like Coley. And we're like, "Oh, come on." The other day I was trying to get something out of the laundry, out of the dryer, and I couldn't get it. It was stuck. And I'm like, "Oh, come on." And it's fun because we're all catching ourselves saying that phrase. I don't know what phrase is going around your house. And I don't know if you're starting to sound and be like the people that you're hanging out with under quarantine. But you know what? It really is something that is happens all the time, not just under quarantine, but it's really a truth that whoever we hang out with, that's who we sound like. That's who we become. That's who we look like. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today is this idea of becoming who we hang out with. We have a lot of special birthdays in April and May in my family. And my mom just celebrated her 80th birthday. And we were supposed to be together for a party, and my sister's family and all of us. But that didn't happen because of quarantine. So we did an online birthday party. And we were all on FaceTime singing happy birthday. And we all went around, just shared about something that we love about my mom. And my sister was really sweet. She was talking about the quirky little fun things that she loves about my mom. And she said that at the end, she said, "Mom, I'm starting to become just like you. And I'm okay with that." And I loved that phrase because I chimed right in with my sister. "Mom, I'm okay with being just like you because we think you're pretty special." So happy Mother's Day. Shout out to my mom. But we are who we hang out with. And I want you to know that we can't escape that dynamic, whether it's good or whether it's bad. We become who we hang out with. And it's scriptural truth too. So would you turn in your Bible to 2 Corinthians chapter 3. This is where Paul is giving us some instructions, and he's also really bringing this to light, this idea of being who we hang out with. So I want to read it for us, 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 18, and it says this: "We who with unveiled faces all reflect the Lord's glory, and we are being transformed into his likeness with an ever-increasing glory, which comes from the Lord, who is a Spirit." We are becoming the reflection of God. We are showing his glory. It's by us hanging out with him. It's by us being in his image, we show his glory. Paul's kind of referencing a chapter out of the Old Testament in this, as he's making this point. The reference is Exodus chapter 33. And the story that unfolds in that chapter is just about Moses and this amazing encounter that he had with God. Moses was at a point in his leadership where he was trying to figure out how to lead the children of Israel, how to deal with their grumbling and complaining, how to compensate like for his own failings and his own mishaps. And he meets with God on a mountain. God calls him to a place and he said, Moses, I'm going to give you something that's really important, but I need you to come away with me. And so he goes to the top of the mountain and he meets with God and he's crying out before God and he's asking God, God, I want to see your face. I want to see your glory. And God says, well, I can't allow that to happen. I can't allow you to see my face, but I will allow you to see me as I pass by. And so in that holy moment, God passes by, the holy almighty God passes by the humanity of a man standing on a mountaintop. And as he passes by, he covers Moses until he's completely by, and Moses has a glimpse of just the back of God. And that alone radically changed Moses. Like, in such a way that it was reflecting off of him. He came down out of the mountain top experience with God to meet with the children of Israel, and he had to cover his face because the glory that he was exposed to was now reflecting on his face, and it frightened the people. It was too overwhelming for them in that moment. They had never had that experience before. And so Moses had to cover his face. And that's what Paul's talking about. We now, with unveiled faces, reflect the glory of the Lord. Moses' face was veiled in that moment, but he was radiating the glory. Paul is now saying that we don't have to wear a veil. And we're pretty familiar with that, right? Being in quarantine, wearing a mask, aren't you glad? We don't have to wear a veil. That was taken care of when Jesus was on the cross. That veil was rent for us. That veil was destroyed for us. And now we don't have to wear it. And in fact, we don't have to climb a mountain. We don't have to wait for an appointment. We don't have to wait for a one-time event for someone else to go into the Holy of Holies and come back and give us a word from God. What we have access to today, according to what Paul is telling us, is amazing. We have direct access to the presence of God. And so he's saying to us, when we do that, when we enter into the presence of God, we have the privilege to reflect his glory. And unlike Moses, how the glory faded off of Moses' face, the glory that we have access to, the glory that should be being exhibited in our life, is an ever-increasing glory. It's a glory that should have layers and layers and level, and it should be alive and active. It should be growing in each one of our lives. It's such a privilege to be able to carry the reflection of God. But today, there is a little catch to this. And the catch for all of us is simply this: you can't reflect what you haven't seen. If we haven't seen the face of God, we can't reflect the face of God. If we haven't seen his goodness, we can't reflect his goodness. If we haven't experienced or seen his faithfulness, if we haven't seen his forgiveness in our life, there's no way that we can reflect what we haven't seen. There's a story in the New Testament that really illustrates this to me. So can we turn there? It's in the book of John, and it's chapter 5. Just want to read a few verses of John chapter 5. Jesus is encountering a lame man at the pool of Bethesda. And John chapter 5 begins with this: Jesus went up to Jerusalem for a feast of the Jews. Now there is in Jerusalem near the sheep gate a pool, which in Aramaic is called Bethesda, and which is surrounded by 5 covered colonnades. Here is a great number of disabled people used to lie: the blind, the lame, the paralyzed. One who was there had been an invalid for 38 years. I mean, let's just stop and think about that for a second. 38 years. 38 of his years on the planet he had spent by this pool. Goes on to say that when Jesus saw him lying there and learned kind of about his story and what his condition was, he asked the man, Do you want to get well? Do you want to get well? And the man said, Sir, I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred. While I'm trying to get in, someone else gets in always ahead of me. Then Jesus said to him, Get up, pick up your mat, and walk. At once the man was cured, and he picked up his mat and he walked. I believe that this man sitting at that pool that day had been looking at a man in the reflection of that pool for many years, 38 years, right? Looking at the reflection of himself, of a man who was broken, lame, dealing with his own weaknesses, maybe feeling pity, maybe fighting discouragement, maybe resenting seeing other people making it into the pool, other people receive their healing, and he didn't. Maybe he looked into the pool and saw a reflection of a man carrying offense and jealousy, a man who was broken in all ways. And then along comes Jesus. Jesus speaks to him, and that man takes his eyes off of the pool, off of the reflection of himself, and puts it on Jesus. And in that moment, everything changes. Because as he's looking at Jesus, he sees something different. He doesn't see brokenness, he doesn't see limitation, but now he's seeing healing. He's seeing potential. He's seeing freedom. He's seeing purpose. He's seeing a boldness, and he's seeing a simple truth that's making a profound impact on him. His eyes shifted to Jesus, and his whole life was changed. And I really believe that from that moment on, he began to reflect the glory of God. I'm like, even to this moment, because here we are, all these years later, we're telling his story, we're talking about his story, and the glory of God is being revealed. So how does that story relate to us? How does the story of Moses relate to us? Paul, I do believe, is speaking to us, saying that we carry this same reflection. We have the ability to carry this same glory that he's talking about in 2 Corinthians. But what does it look like for you and me? What does it look like today, in 2020? Maybe, what does it even look like in the middle of our time of quarantine? And I think there's a couple of things that are significant. Number one, I really think that position matters. Like, it mattered for Moses, right? Moses had to get away. He had to position himself to see God. He had to position himself on the side of that mountain in order to be able to meet with God. The man beside the pool, he had to position himself too. Maybe not his body, but he had to position his eyes. He had to stop looking down at the pool and the reflection of what he was seeing of 38 years. And he had to switch his gaze. He had to position his eyes to Jesus, to see his hope. He had to get his eyes off of himself and his circumstances, and he had to look at Jesus. I think the positioning of our thoughts is really crucial too. Like, what are you thinking about today? Where are your thoughts? Where are they positioned? Where we are positioned is really important in how we see Jesus. Again, like we can't reflect what we haven't seen. If we're not willing to stand in front of a mirror, we're not going to be able to see a reflection of ourselves coming back at us, right? So if we're not willing to stand in the presence of God, right in the middle where we can see him fully, there's no way that we're going to be able to see him, number one, or be his reflection. So position really matters. And I want to encourage all of us to keep pursuing God. Pursue him. Chase after him. Take a good, look at ourselves and just say, man, what am I thinking about? Are my thoughts in line with his? His ways are higher. His thoughts are greater. And he is for us. We can have the access to be like him and to mirror him in such a way, to reflect him in such a way that we're talking like him, we're thinking like him, we are acting like him. The second thing that I think that matters is fruit. The fruit out of our lives. So what should be seen in each one of us as we're reflecting the glory of God? It's pretty simple. I think that what should be seen in us is exactly what was seen in Jesus. I think the attributes of Jesus, I think we would do well to study the attributes, to study how he treated people, to study his thought process, to study his acts of surrender and his willingness to only be about his Father's business. I think one of the things that I know I see in the life of Jesus is that there was just this constant growth, like from a child growing up, like there was always momentum behind what he was doing. He was growing, he was teaching people, he was waiting for perfect timing. John the Baptist went before him, and then Jesus came after. He didn't run ahead, but he was growing in those moments, in teaching the multitudes and in touching them. He was growing in listening to the Father and responding perfectly to him. I think our lives should also just exemplify hope. Hope isn't a one-time thing. Hope isn't dead, but hope is living. Hope is active. It's available to each one of us, and it's a growing thing, this ever increasing. There should be hope that is growing in each one of us. Grace and love towards other people, I think, is something that should really be demonstrated in each one of our lives. So as we take inventory, like, is it growing in us? Like, are we loving better today than we did last year at this time? Are we filled with grace? Are we giving out grace? Are we receiving grace for ourselves? Are we making sure that in a world that is filled with hatred and racism and human trafficking and abuse, in that crazy world that God has placed us in, are we carrying love? Is it coming out of our mouths? Is it found in our hearts? Is it found in how we motivate our actions? And is it found in how we treat one another? Is it found in who we are? I think grace and love needs to be seen if we're reflecting Jesus. Also, I feel like there should be a confidence and an assurance if you've really seen Jesus, if you've really seen God. Jesus, when he was with his disciples out on the boat and the storm was crazy all around, who was the only one that wasn't freaking out? It was Jesus. And why? Because he has this confidence, this assurance that the Father is in control. The Father is in control. There's a confidence in the Word of God. There's a confidence in the truth of God. And I feel like Jesus modeled that for each of us. Also, there's a trust factor that I think needs to be seen in our lives. It kind of goes with the confidence, but in those times when things aren't going the way we want it to go, when our plan is being diverted, when our plan might have come to a dead stop, there needs to be a trust in us of the Father. Like, Lord, I don't know what's going on, but I trust in you. I trust that you've got it. I trust that no matter what I'm doing, no matter what I see, I know that you're in it. You're in it, and you have my best interest at mind. Other fruit I think that's important is just joy. I feel like our lives should be marked by joy. We should reflect the joy of the Lord. I also feel like there should be a strong boldness in each one of our lives. A boldness to make changes, a boldness to say yes to God, a boldness to be tenacious about personal discipline, to be in His Word, a boldness just to share Christ. In 2 Corinthians chapter 3, just a few verses earlier, Paul says this: since we have such a hope, like this amazing hope of how good God is and how He's pouring out His life for us, since we have such a hope, we are very bold. That's a big statement. And so there should be boldness being reflected out of our lives to the world around us if we've seen Him. If we've seen Him and we can reflect Him. I know that it's every mother's heart today that your kids would see the goodness of God. I know it is. I know it's in the heart of every person. Like, we want to know God. We want to be good. We want to have these attributes of God effective and living out in our lives. But it doesn't just happen. It doesn't just happen. There's a surrender to God. There is a discipline to being in His presence, to being with Him, to seeing God. We can't reflect what we haven't seen. And so, as moms, let's show our kids the glory of God. Let's show them. Let's be the reflection to that. As women, let's walk in that. As husbands and men of God, let's walk in the goodness of God. Let's chase after Him. When we're with our friends and when we're in our work situations, I pray that we would be reflectors of His grace, of His goodness, of His hope, of His joy, of His peace. I pray that those things would be reflected in our social media accounts. Like, no matter who comes in contact with us, and no matter how they come in contact with us, I pray that we would be good reflectors of the presence of God, of the glory of God. So what will we be reflecting when we come out of this quarantine time? I hope it's not, oh my goodness, finally we made it. Oh, I was so sick of that. That was the worst thing ever. But I pray that instead of that, we would be glowing. We would be radiating with the reflection of the time that we've spent with God. That we've captured these moments of being still, of being tucked away, of being silent, and we've used them for His glory. We've used them to maybe tune our ears a little finer to the voice of God, to be able to read His Word and to know His Word a little deeper, and that now our lives coming out would be a stronger reflection of the glory of God. We would radiate what God has done in us, and it would be a breath of fresh air to this dying, hurting world. It would be used to bring healing and help. And we don't have to wait till we come out. That can happen right now, but it requires us being in the presence of God. I know there are a lot of distractions. And for me, a lot of times when I'm in times of worship, I find myself praying this phrase, eyes on you, Lord. Eyes on you. Eyes on you. I want my eyes to remain on Him. Not get too distracted by the left or the right. Not run ahead, but just keep my focus on you. What are you doing, Lord? What are you saying, Lord? What are you calling? What are you asking in these moments? And I pray that that's how we all are today. Just saying, Lord, our eyes are on you because we want to be a good reflection of you. We know that where our eyes go, the body follows, right? And so I want my eyes to be fixed on God, focused on Him, and let the rest of me fall in line to what He is. So can we do this? Can we pause just for a moment? Right now, wherever you're at, whether you're in your living room or in your bedroom or in your kitchen, or you're watching this online from some other location, can we all just pause for a moment? Let's just ask ourselves this question. What am I reflecting? What am I reflecting? And can we pray and ask God, Lord, show us. Show us what is reflecting off of my life. And Lord, I pray that our eyes would be shifted to you, that we would emanate you, that a radiance from your heavenly throne would come out of our lives because we've spent time with you, that we would see you. We're not looking down at our brokenness. I pray that we wouldn't find ourselves being self-absorbed and so worried about ourselves, but that we would be looking up to Jesus, that we would be looking in His eye, and then we would reflect His glory. We can't reflect what we don't have. And today, maybe as you're taking a few minutes just to look over your own life right now, you'd have to be honest and say, I don't see Him. Maybe you don't see Him because you've never met Him. Maybe you haven't seen Him because you haven't spent time with Him, because up until this moment, you didn't know that Jesus Christ made a way for you. But today, I want you to know and be reassured that you have amazing access to God the Father. Jesus provided that for us. Our sin was the barrier that got in the way, but Jesus stepped in. He gave his life for you and for me, and now we have this amazing access to God. We can come right to the throne of God, and we can connect with him and have a personal relationship with him, all because of what Jesus has done. And if you would love to begin that relationship, it starts with a simple yet powerful prayer. And I want to pray that prayer with you. And so if that's you today, let's all bow our heads and close our eyes. And I want you to repeat this prayer after me. Dear Jesus, thank you for loving me. Thank you for paying the price for my sin. Thank you for giving me access today to come into the presence of God. I pray that you would forgive me, and I receive your forgiveness today. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Amen. If you've prayed that prayer with me today, I want you to know that all of heaven is rejoicing. And if we were all together as a church, you just hear the church just celebrate, clap wildly for you, because you have just made the very best decision of your life. That is the decision to begin this new relationship with God. And I just want to commend you for that. It's the best decision. And we really want to help you with the next step of that. So there's going to be two things that I'm going to ask you to do. Number one, I'm going to ask you to click the raise hand. That little button in the chat is going to just let all of us know, hey, you raised your hand to begin this relationship with God. Secondly, I'd love for you to click the little tab that says live prayer. And what that's going to do is that's going to connect you with one of our hosts. And they're going to ask you for your email address because we have a gift for you. We have a tool that we want to put in your hand for your next step. We believe that it's important that you know what's next on this journey of reflecting the glory of God because you've been with him. And that comes through a book that we're going to send a link to you for. And the name of the book is Following Jesus. It's great biblical steps on what to do next. So again, let me say congratulations on making the very best decision that you could ever make. And I know the church is rejoicing with you today as well. Hey, I'm really grateful that you've stayed with us this long, that you've joined the service today. It is Mother's Day, so I want to shout out to all the moms. And I want to encourage each of us to just take time to reflect. What am I reflecting, right? Am I reflecting the goodness of God? And in the words of my grandson, come on, let's do an even better job. Let's press into the glory of God. Let's press into the full access that we have to the goodness and presence of God today. So we have that access today. It's for you and it's for me. So come on, let's step into the fullness of it. I'm really grateful that you've joined us today, and we love you all and can't wait to see you next Sunday all together.
That was such a great word from Pastor Becky. I just love her. We just want to say Happy Mother's Day to you. It's been such a great morning.
Wait, it's not over yet, actually. We still have some more things to talk about and some more announcements to make. We actually have some special treats that we're giving away to all the women in honor of Mother's Day.
Really?
Yes.
Whoa.
As you might notice, Pastor Lynette has an iced coffee that she's holding. So today we're giving out specialty drinks, and we're also giving out another treat. But before I reveal what it is, I want to play a little game.
I love games. I love games.
Okay.
Love them.
All right, so close your eyes.
Both of them?
Yes. Oh, otherwise I would have said close your eye. Close your eyes.
Okay. I got you.
Okay. All right, so we're giving away macaroons, but I want to see if Pastor Lynette can guess what flavor they are.
Okay,
you
I got
ready?
this. I got it.
All right. Take a bite. What is it?
I need another bite.
I think she just wanted to have another bite. I think she knew what it was.
It's lemon!
Yes, it's lemon. So for the Chandler campus, from 1 to 3, we are giving out specialty drinks and macaroons to the first 100 people that get here, or the first 100 women that get here. So treat yourself, treat your mom, and make sure you stop by and come and see us. And then what about Gilbert campus?
Well, our wonderful women at the Gilbert campus, guess what? We're doing the same thing. Follow the tent. You'll see it there at Cooley Middle School. We will be serving you drinks from 1 to 2. Please be there. We love you guys, and we're looking forward to seeing you next week.
See you next week.